Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, back with another video, and in today's video, I will be discussing free agent edge rushers that the Commanders could consider targeting this offseason. So, if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm on the 3K subs, so if you could, hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so first off, we're going to start with Brian Burns. And Brian Burns, he is probably the best free agent edge rusher on the market, that will be on the market once free agency begins. He's a top edge rusher in the NFL, in my opinion. He's going to get a bag this free agency cycle. Let's go over his stats real quick. In his rookie season in 2019 with the Panthers, and actually in 2019, a lot of analysts, a lot of people around the league, a lot of experts were mocking Brian Burns to us at 15. Obviously, when Dwayne Haskins fell to 15, RIP to him. We took him. Dan Snyder decided to take him, and then Brian Burns went to the Panthers the pick after. But a lot of people were mocking Brian Burns to us, and for good reasons. Brian Burns was one of the best pass rushers in that draft class. In his rookie season with the Panthers, he played in all 16 games. He's stayed healthy throughout his entire career. Rookie season, played all 16 games, had 25 tackles, 7.5 sacks. Pretty good. 2020 season, played 15 games, had 58 tackles, 9 sacks, and 4 pass deflections. In 2021, he played in all 17 games, had 46 tackles, 9 sacks, 4 pass deflections. In 2022, probably his best season of his career, he played in 16 games, had 59 tackles, and 12.5 sacks, along with 3 pass deflections. And in 2023, played in 16 games, 43 tackles, 8 sacks, and 2 pass deflections. So Brian Burns, he led a pretty, promising Panthers defense. I'm not going to lie. This past season and over the past couple seasons, the Panthers defense actually hasn't been bad at all. I'm pretty sure they ranked like top 10 this past season in defense, which is pretty good. It's really just their offense that was horrible. I mean, their offense was bottom of the league this past season in passing and rushing wise, which is absolutely terrible. Obviously, Bryce Young, he didn't get a lot of help. I mean, what were his weapons? Terrace Marshall Jr., Adam Thielen, absolutely horrible. So it was really the Panthers defense that had to really carry them, but they just couldn't carry them enough. The Panthers went 2-15, and now, they don't have a first overall pick because the Panthers traded up for Bryce Young last year, traded their 2023 first round pick. So, and actually last year, I'm pretty sure the Rams made an offer to the Panthers about trading for Brian Burns. I'm pretty sure they were willing to give up like 1 or 2 first round picks for him, which the Panthers decided to decline. So this could be a sign that, hey, they're probably going to franchise tag him, maybe not. His market value, according to SpotTrack, is $21.7 million a year. He's going to get more than that. He's going to get way more than that. I feel like Burns will get somewhere because Montez Sweat, the Bears extended him to a 4-year, $98 million deal. That's $24.5 million per year. I think Brian Burns will get $24 to $30 million per year. I feel like at worst, maybe like $23-24 million per year, but I feel like he'll get somewhere between $24 to $30 million per year. Maybe 25, maybe 26, maybe 27. We will see. But Brian Burns, overall dynamic, really good pass rusher, and he deserves to get paid. And we got the money to pay him. I made a cap space video earlier today. Yesterday actually. Make sure to go check that out. But hey, man, we got the money to pay him, and he deserves to get paid. So that's Brian Burns, and on to the next guy. All right, next up we got Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, first of all, just want to mention, he'd be great under Dan Quinn's scheme and defense. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker. Now I would say we're probably gonna run a 3-4, maybe a 4-3, maybe a mix of both, because even Joe Wood Jr. said in his press conference that we're not gonna exactly run a 3-4 or 4-3. We're just gonna be dominant out there on the field. So that kind of leads me to believe we're not going to exactly run one of those schemes, but like a combination of both. But regardless, Josh Allen would be perfect for whatever scheme we run. In his rookie season with the Jaguars, he had 10.5 sacks. He played in all 16 games, by the way. Had 44 tackles and 11 tackles for loss. He finished 4th in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting and made the Pro Bowl. 2020 season didn't do much because of injury, I'm pretty sure. Had 2.5 sacks, 13 tackles, 2 tackles for losses. 2021, he played in 16 games, had 1 interception, 7.5 sacks, 14 QB hits, and 71 tackles, a career high for him. In 2022, played in all 17 games, had four forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 7 sacks, 57 tackles, and 11 tackles for losses. And then this past 2023 season, his best season of his career in his contract year, he played in all 17 games, had 17.5 sacks, 33 quarterback hits, which is very impressive, 66 tackles, and 17 tackle for losses. So Josh Allen, he's been really good throughout his entire career like Brian Burns, but this past season, he really took a huge step, and he's going to get paid this offseason, well, in free agency like Brian Burns. Per Spot Track, his market value is $23.9 million. I'm kind of surprised his market value is more than Brian Burns' market value because they're both dominant. I don't think there should be that much of a gap in their market values, but I think they'll get paid around the same, 24, 25 to $30 million per year. I think Josh Allen, at the very least, will probably get like paid at the very minimum, maybe like $20 to $22 million per year. But I think at the most, he can get paid up to $30 million per year because of how dominant of an edge rusher is. Technically an outside linebacker. And like I said, he'd be very, very good in Dan Quinn's defense and Joe Witt Dan Quinn's defense. Whatever scheme they run, he's going to be dominant. Obviously, him and Trayvon Walker, the Jaguars drafted him, Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker had like 10.5 sacks this past season. So him and Trayvon Walker, they were super dominant for the Jaguars this past season. And that's why the Jaguars had a really good defense this past season and the past couple of seasons in general. So that's Josh Allen. Now on to the next player. All right, so the next guy up is Bryce Huff. And Bryce Huff is a name that has been getting linked to us over the past couple of days and weeks. I've seen multiple reporters and experts linking his name to us. He's a very good edge rusher, first of all. He's played it with the Jets throughout his entire career. He was drafted by the Jets in 2020. Didn't play much in his first 3 seasons. Didn't start much in his first 3 seasons. But this past 2023 season, he took a huge step forward, playing all 17 games, had 10 total sacks, 29 total tackles, 10 tackles for losses, and 11 QB hits. That is very impressive because Bryce Huff only played in 42.2% of the Jets' defensive snaps in total all season, which is those stats playing under 50% of the Jets' defensive snaps. Super, super, super impressive. Now, and I can only imagine what his stats could be like if he played in more snaps, more percentage of snaps. His market value per Spot Track is $9.2 million annually. I feel like he's going to get anywhere between $10 to $20 million per year. Maybe a little less than $20 million per year, but I would probably give him, max I would probably give Bryce Huff is maybe $15 to $16 million per year. Maybe a little less than that, maybe $14 or $13 million per year. But Bryce Huff, he's still a very, very, very good edge rusher. He isn't on the level of Brian Burns and Josh Allen, in my opinion, but he would still be a very solid signing for us. I don't think it would be one of our like huge splash signing because he would be a very good signing, a big signing for us, but I feel like we're going to make a big splash this offseason, signing a guy like maybe L'Jarius Sneed or Jalen Johnson, maybe a linebacker like Patrick Queen. So I don't think Bryce Huff will be like our main splash signing, but he would definitely be a big signing for us because we need 2 edge rushers. We need 2 new edge rushers, and Bryce Huff, he would be one of them. And if we were to sign Bryce Huff, we would need to either sign another one, maybe draft another one, maybe even trade for another one. But I doubt that we would most likely draft another edge rusher or sign another edge rusher if we were to sign Bryce Huff. Maybe sign another edge rusher. Maybe we want to go big and sign Brian Burns or Josh Allen, maybe a guy like Doran Armstrong or Daniel Hunter. We will see, but overall, Bryce Huff, he would be a very good signing for us. He would fit Dan Quinn's defense and scheme perfectly, in my opinion. So that is Bryce Huff, and on to the next guy. Next guy I got up here is Doran Armstrong Jr., edge rusher for the Cowboys over the past 6 seasons. And he's been a really good edge rusher for the Cowboys over the past 2 seasons, man. I mean, he was drafted by the Cowboys in 2018. Really didn't do much during his first 3 seasons with the Cowboys from 2018 to 2020. But in 2021 is when he had his first really, really, really solid season. In 2021, he played in 13 games, had 5 sacks, 37 total tackles, 3 tackles for losses, and 12 QB hits. that was apparently enough for the Cowboys to re-sign him to a 2-year deal. In 2022, he played in all 17 games, had 8.5 sacks, 33 combined tackles, 10 tackles for losses, and 16 quarterback hits. And then this past 2023 season, he played in all 17 games again, 7.5 sacks. He had 7 tackles for losses and 12 QB hits. Note, over the past 2 seasons, he's only started in 6 games. So he's really more of a depth player for the Cowboys, but because he comes in for Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence sometimes. But man, he is a really, really, really good piece to that Cowboys defense. Only played in 41.7% of the defensive snaps for the Cowboys this past season, but he's very solid. He's 26 years old. He's going to turn 27 years old once the season starts. He would be a very good piece of Dan Quinn's defense for obvious reasons. I mean, he's worked with Dan Quinn over the past 3 years, and he fits Dan Quinn's defense perfectly. The way Dan Quinn utilized Armstrong this past season was very impressive. Cowboys games, they were on national television sometimes, so I watched them once in a while, and hey, I saw Doran Armstrong, and he looked very, very solid when he was on the field. So that's another guy that I would not mind signing at all. Now, Spot Track, I can't find his market value on Spot Track. I'm just gonna say maybe give him like a $10 to $15 million per year on average. I think that would be good, $10 to $15 million per year. Because he hasn't started for the Cowboys because they already got Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence starting on the edge. I think it would be a pretty good starting edge rusher for us. Maybe we can sign him and Bryce Huff. I actually would not mind that at all, and they would be cheaper than signing Josh Allen and or Brian Burns. So I would like the additions of Bryce Huff and Doran Armstrong Jr. Doran Armstrong Jr., he's a very, very, very solid pass rusher. Now, some other guys we could look to target. Danielle Hunter, longtime Vikings pass rusher. He's an elite pass rusher. He had I want to say 18 to 19 sacks this past season, which is pretty insane. He would be another solid option. He's 30 though, but he still is a force. Emmanuel Ogbah, he was, released by the Dolphins a few days ago. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. He hasn't had. They re-signed him. They extended him in 2021. But I'm pretty sure 2022 offseason actually, but in 2022, 2023, he's been injured quite a bit, so he hasn't been that same force, that same elite player for the Dolphins ever since 2021. So that's why the Dolphins released him, to create some cap space. Works out for them, so I don't know if I would sign Emmanuel Ogbah. Really, we also got Randy Gregory, Marcus Davenport, Zadarius Smith, Yannick Ngakoue. He's the one who blew out Logan Thomas's knee. We'll never forget. Chase Young, I don't think we're going to re-sign Chase Young. I don't want to re-sign Chase Young. Maybe a cheap deal, but we'll see. Who else do we have here? Kayvon Chaisson, Jadeveon Clowney. He was pretty solid for the Ravens this past season. There was one more guy. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Grenard. I think he's played with the Texans for the past 1 or 2 seasons. This past season for the Texans, he had 12 sacks under D'Amico Ryans, which is insane. 12 sacks, that is really good. So Jonathan Grenard is another guy I would not mind signing at all. And that is really it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, comment down below what free agent edge rushers you think the Commanders should be targeting. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.